Dallas Chargers select Zion Johnson, guard, Boston College.
Zion Johnson, how about his career? Started off at Davidson, transfers to Boston College, starts 49 games in college.
8th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Drake London. Wide receiver, USC.
So they go wide receiver and lead.
What's going on, dudes and dudettes? I think I'll be able to read this without my glasses. So yes, as you saw right there, a big night for both Chargers and USC. Speaking of the Chargers, first they went with the guard out of Boston College, Zion Johnson, who I've mentioned in many of my mock drafts, and I did a mock draft about him if they went with him in the first round. That I've liked him the past couple years. Always thought he was very talented. Obviously, it worked that he went back because he is now a first round pick. I always thought maybe second, third, or fourth before, like a couple years ago, but definitely a very smart dude from what we were hearing about the coaches and the GM talking about him afterwards, and they definitely believe he's going to be more of the right guard and not the right tackle, so that is still maybe up in the air, but I think they also believe they might have the solution on their roster already, so we'll see if they do end up making another trade or maybe drafting another guy for that tackle position. You never know, but overall, they ended up getting their guy. And if I was Justin Herbert, I would not be mad about it at all. Or Austin Eckler as well. So congrats to Zion and welcome to LA. And then also, speaking of USC, the wide receiver Drake London went number 8 overall. He was all over, mocked to anywhere in the first round. But yes, Atlanta was the first one that I saw him go to, especially because people talk about them getting maybe a quarterback, something else, some other type of maybe receiver or defensive player, because they need a lot down there in Atlanta, but they went with the USC guy, and it's just going to be crazy if that can actually work with him being like a very athletic, not the quickest receiver, but they picked Kyle Pitts when they were like top 4 last year, who was kind of similar, but he was just a way more athletic tight end. But I don't know, it'll be pretty interesting. They're almost like a basketball team down there, but we'll see how that goes. Congrats to him. Sadly, no other USC players or Chargers players taken in the first round. So I know the Chargers tonight for round 3 have 1 pick, and I'm pretty sure at least one more USC guy will go. I think Drake Jackson. I was hearing a lot that he had a chance to go in the first. He did not, but I'm pretty sure he will get picked up tonight because of all that talent that he still and might have. Then Harvard's Cale Catchings, I believe he's like a guard / small forward. He recently transferred to Duke the other day, which is pretty nice to get a little bit of an upperclassman who's obviously smart. He went to Harvard, but also has a Duke connection because Tommy Amaker, who is an ex-Duke player and assistant, is the coach up there at Harvard. So obviously he knows how to recruit and knows the type of guy that Duke is getting, and hopefully it's a good enough thing. I know he's probably not going to start because of the type of talent Duke is getting with their freshmen, but he'll be a good guy to come off the bench, hopefully. Then Duke actually finally made an assistant coach hire officially. I know they kind of just been hiring ex-Duke players, and they kind of let one of their guys go. They just promoted Emil Jefferson the other day, but they ended up stealing one of Kentucky's top not only assistant coaches but recruiters in Jai Lucas. Yeah, Jai Lucas, and apparently he's only the number 2 recruiter behind John Shire, who's going to be the head coach of Duke. So, I mean, it's going to be even more amazing because if Shire himself can get the number 1 recruiting class coming in next fall, imagine what type of players they're going to be able to get. Probably like 1, 2, 3, and 4, kind of like how they did with Zion, RJ, and Cam that one year. But overall, this is a great hire because you're able to steal somebody from a rival. It's not really technically a rival, but for some reason Duke and Kentucky hate each other, and this is just Duke getting the one up on them, which is always nice. So definitely excited about this. Then speaking of the Chargers, yes, apparently they are going to be playing in the first Amazon Prime Thursday night game in week 2 against Kansas City in Kansas City. So it's going to be a pretty tough matchup early in the year, but for some reason we've been playing Kansas City pretty early, like week 2 or week 3, something like that. So it's going to be a big game. Obviously, everybody's going to be watching that night So hopefully the Chargers can come out with that victory. But yeah, pretty nice that they're getting the first game on Amazon Prime's new day. Then the Chargers also, right before the draft, a couple days before, they signed a guard, Will Clapp, who's kind of played guard center for the New Orleans Saints the past couple years. But I'm also not surprised because our offensive coordinator used to be the coordinator for the Saints, so I just brought in a guy who could help out with depth. I know they don't believe he's going to be a main starter, so he's just going to be a backup guy. But he's still a pretty talented guy enough, so not mad about this signing. They haven't really had many signings recently, so glad about that. Then BYU was scheduled to play USC football some point in the fall of 2023. But I guess since they are making the move, I think they joined the Big 12. They joined some big conference now finally because they were an independent. But I guess they kind of have like some uncertainty about their future and all this stuff. And I think the Big 12 is going to go to like 9 conference games. So you can only schedule like 2 or 3 outside of your conference. And apparently they had to cancel the game because they just didn't know the future. And USC needed to know right away. So they canceled it. And then USC is now going to play San Jose State, which is probably a little bit of an easier game, but still it's not a Division 2 or 3 game that a lot of these other teams like Alabama, Clemson end up scheduling. So not mad about this. Jason Tatum, the ex-Duke player who's playing with Boston, recently swept his first round opponent in the Brooklyn Nets, scored another 29 points for the Celtics. It's kind of weird because it's fun seeing him be able to grow into what he's most likely going to be considered after this playoff run. No matter if he wins a championship or not, he's going to be considered a superstar. But it just sucks that it's with Boston. So it's a love and hate relationship right now. So you want him to do good because he's from Duke, but still you don't want him to win the title just yet unless he's playing for the Lakers or someone else. But yeah, overall, congrats to him. You only get the defending champions from last year, Milwaukee Bucks, in the second round. So that's going to be an awesome matchup to watch. Then a lot of these, especially these top 3 guys that I've been wanting the Lakers to look at for their head coaching job. It was kind of up in the air just because they're all in kind of good situations to where it would be them being the ones wanting to leave, not the team really firing them in the end of the season. But all 3 have recently, within this last couple of days, have all lost in the first round, and their teams are not playing anymore. And I know 2 situations. I know Mike Malone with Denver. It's like, yeah, he has a great team, but I know he's been assistant coach with LeBron on one of his Cleveland teams, and they know each other really well. They have a good rapport, but I don't know if he'd want to leave Denver, who's been pretty good, and they have an MVP in Jokic, but they never can seem to get over the hump in the first or second round. I know they went to the Western Conference Finals against the Lakers in the bubble, but pretty much that's it. Every single time there's been injuries or they just fell up short. So he could be a guy to look at. Quinn Snyder, once again, they lost to Dallas, so they're out of the playoffs. Ex-Duke guy, but also he wasn't an ex-assistant coach for the Lakers early 2010s, but I know he's also might be looking to get the San Antonio job, which I didn't know was officially up because I forget if Greg Popovich ever said he was going to retire or not. I haven't heard that, but apparently he might be getting fired as well or stepping down. You never know, but those are definitely guys, and even Nick Nurse from Toronto who won a title a couple years back with when he had Kawhi and all that stuff, but even his team lost to Philly, and you just never know what these guys are going to be thinking if they want to be able to have a chance to coach LeBron James. It just sucks that if the front office steps in again and tells them who they can and cannot hire on their staff, that's going to be a big thing for these guys. And I don't know. We just have to hope for the best, but to have a chance at 3 of those guys as a possibility, it's pretty good for the Lakers. Then Boogie Ellis of USC, we didn't hear if he decided to go to try out the NBA or officially hire an agent to leave for the NBA or anything like that, or if he wanted to stay. But on this NBA draft entry list that came out that you had to sign up for if you wanted to at least get in there to the combine, his name is in there. So apparently he did sign up. He might go to the combine and work out for a couple teams, and if he finds out that he's not going to get drafted where he wants, he most likely is going to come back to USC, which would be a good thing because they will once again be a pretty good surprise team in the NCAA tournament, I think, and just have more experience for the team with a lot of good, talented guys coming back. I think you can't mess up that opportunity, Boogie. So you got to come back at least for one more year. Then to finish off with quite a bit of miscellaneous news, quite a bit of stuff came out. So Rocky Balboa himself, Stallone, said that the Rocky Balboa movie, which is number 6 in the franchise, was considered like the very hardest and most difficult one to not only shoot but get like done, even to start shooting, because it took about 15 to 20 years. He could be exaggerating, but I think it took around that, like around 10 to 15 years to more get it out. I know not a lot of people liked that 5th one just because it wasn't really a boxing movie, and he just kind of got away from all of Rocky's story eventually. And it was like a lot of tough things he had to do because a lot of like the producers and other people that worked on the other movies that were successful didn't want to come back for this one either. So he had a lot of pressure on him and just kind of doing it by himself, which he wrote and directed again. But as a lot of people believe, if you're a true Rocky fan, that's definitely like your 2nd or 3rd favorite movie, even though it came out pretty recently. But yeah, it's still a pretty good one in my opinion, and I think he did a great job with that one. Then Mike Shinoda of Linkin Park recently said on one of his live streams or wherever he's doing it, I think it's Twitch, that people keep asking if Linkin Park is officially coming back because sometimes they release a thing here and there and people automatically start the train going, the hype train that, oh yes, they're coming back, they gotta do this. And he even turned down this dumb idea that they would have like a hologram of Chester or something like that while they were playing, which he said it was the stupidest thing somebody ever thought of. But yes, as of right now, he says they haven't even been in the correct mindset, even though it's been like around 3 years, I think, that they still aren't even in the same correct mindset to even want to get together officially and even work on music. He maybe talks to some of the members every couple of days or even couple of weeks, and he doesn't even talk to most of them. But yeah, overall, I just think maybe they put this to bed, at least a band, for a couple of more years, maybe another 5 to 10 years. You never know, they could come back, play a couple festivals, but overall I think it's still just too tough for them, so not mad about that. Then this weird story came out that apparently John Wayne was approached by Steven Spielberg to be in one of his movies for like a pretty small role, like only a couple lines, but he ended up turning it down like pretty viciously and upsetly because I guess he figured that Spielberg was making a somewhat of a comedy in this movie called 1941, which I've never seen. I haven't seen a lot of Spielberg's early stuff, but he kind of thought he was making more fun of the war and especially the American military and all this stuff, which I don't think it really was. It was just kind of like somewhat of a comedy, but somewhat serious as well. And I guess he kind of was just upset, especially the fact that it was only going to be a couple lines and nothing too big. But then of course, obviously after that, you know, Spielberg makes like Jaws and Close Encounters of the Third Kind, so a lot of these other bigger movies. 1941 is not his biggest movie, but just right after that, of course, he ended up making a lot of good stuff too. So maybe we missed out on an opportunity for John Wayne to work with Steven Spielberg, but overall I guess it's warranted if he was upset, because I'm pretty sure John Wayne was a military guy himself. Then to finish this off, yes, Tom DeLonge the other day officially said, I think it was on Instagram, that the movie Monsters of California, I think it's called, that he wrote and directed, is officially done. So, but as usual in the Tom DeLonge fashion, there is no release date or anything like that. I know the past couple months he's been saying, even going to the end of last year, that it would be released in the spring of this year. But once again, we're kind of like in the middle of the spring, probably have like another month, maybe 2 to push it, and still haven't heard any news about it coming out anytime soon. He might be one of those weirdos that might want to wait till the summer to get it into some other festivals, see if it could get some recognition like that, kind of like how the other film did, and then to be able to put it out to a bigger audience, whether goes with the streaming or releasing it in theaters, you never know. But still looking forward to it. You see a lot of those random pictures. Even I didn't even know those set pictures where there's like a dinosaur, like little dinosaurs in a cage, which just makes it even better for me because obviously I love dinosaurs too. So definitely looking forward to that. Thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day, and yes, good luck to the Chargers tonight. Hopefully they make the correct pick and move up if they need to, but I'm most likely sure that they will not because they never do. And then good luck to all the USC guys who might get drafted tonight as well. So yeah, fight on.